Hello, hello. Oh, I always do that. I go on and I go, oh, my hair. I am so happy to be with you guys. I know you will be showing up shortly, and some of you are watching the replay, so I'm going to talk right now since you guys are watching the replay. Let me just say that this is going to be the highlight of my day being with you guys because it's been a full day and so many technical challenges. In fact, even just coming on tonight, oh my God, oops, and things are falling. Coming on tonight, I was clicking the Facebook group and it wouldn't let me come in the Facebook group. Hey, Gloria, good to have you here. And Carla, wow, surprise, good to have you here, sister. So yeah, so I'm trying to click the Facebook group and it's not letting me in, and I'm like, take a breath, and so then I actually restarted the computer, and then Word shut down incorrectly. And the long story short is I'm ready to go, but I'm a little bit like, woo! So being that I'm a little woo, and I'm the one that's holding the fort here, I'm going to invite you to join me in a couple of deep breaths to come center and ground and be present for what I know is going to be a very eye-opening night for you. So join me to take a deep breath and let go of the day, because I know I'm ready to do that. And take another breath, because I know I can use another one. Okay, so here we are. I know many people will be joining us in the moments coming, because it takes a while for the Facebook Live to populate. And for those of you that are watching the replay, write replay in the comment box and let me know that you're here. It's so good to know who's showing up, and remember to play big, full out. Remember, every time you make a comment or ask a question or even comment on somebody else's comment, that your name goes in a hat, and I will pick a name out at the end of the week, and there will be a winner for a VIP session, which is a 3-hour deep dive session with me valued at $1,500. And so it's a really cool prize. And what an awesome way to get the prize, which is participating and showing up, supporting your sisters and sharing and getting coached. So it's awesome. And just to, hey, Kathy, welcome. And just to remind you that this is for you. This is time for you. This is time to really look at what's holding you back and stopping you from welcoming in what I call next level love, a love where you can relax and just be you and not abandon who you are. So yesterday we looked at risk. Yesterday we looked at our relationship to risk. If you're watching the replay or you're here for the first time, feel free to stay. I'm going to invite you, though, to definitely go back to the first one, because there's some really important information in the first one that I don't want you to miss, because we're looking at how we view our relationship to taking chances. Hey, Mandy, you made it this time earlier. You get to be here for the whole thing. And Anita, welcome. I've just been yapping a little bit about, reviewing a little bit about yesterday and all the technical difficulties I've had tonight, knowing that everybody's slowly joining in. So how is everybody? Why don't we just start with chiming in? And yeah, good. I'm glad your internet's working tonight, Mandy. So how's everyone doing? Why don't you write a comment and share how your day was, how you're feeling in this moment. Are you happy to be here? Are you struggling to be here because there's all these things that you feel like you need to be doing and there's that pull? So, let me know how you're doing right now. I'd like to know. While everybody's chiming in, because it takes a while. I just want you to just know that I'm really thrilled to have you here. And today we are going to take a closer look at the idea of risk, which if you remember yesterday, I said there are three components: courage, risk, and rewards. That's the approach that I'm talking about to taking chances. And today we're going to look more at the risk part and how you approach taking chances. And today I'm going to talk to you and introduce to you a part called the risk manager. We started talking about that yesterday, and that's a massive part that you're going to learn. You're also going to today understand risk better. We're going to look at why you avoid it and how you can feel empowered to take more chances in love, because that's why you're here, right? Mario Andretti, that race car driver guy, there's a quote that he said, if things seem under control, you're not going fast enough. So what does that mean? Does it mean pedal to the metal and disregard danger? No. It does mean you might be overly cautious and driving at a snail's pace, which can feel safe. It can feel safer than driving like a bat out of hell, but it also is going to limit your chances in finding fulfillment in your life, winning the race, finding the love if you're like really holding on real tight. So before we can stretch our comfort zone, we have to be willing to take new chances in life. But first, we need to look at why we avoid risk, because we need to see what's really stopping us. All right? I am hoping more people join us soon because I'm about to dive in. Let's see. Carol, okay, so people are here. Carol, welcome back. Holly, so good to have you here. Karen Drucker, yes. Mandy, I'm sorry. Sometimes it takes a while for me to see these posts. So Mandy, currently feeling good, working in Atlantic City with a group of kids, but got to pamper myself a bit today and now eating gelato. Enjoy every bite. Every bite. And I just want to jump on that for a second. The whole pampering thing, like this Friday, I don't if you guys only knew what goes into these master classes with the tech and all the emails and so many moving parts, that I've been putting my heart and soul and my life force into really creating what I believe is going to be a life-changing experience for you. And so Friday, I have a spa day that I've created for myself. And pampering, the idea of pampering is awesome. So I don't want to take that away from you, Mandy. I'm going to add on top of that, because sometimes we think massages or taking a nap or even watching TV is like checking out or pampering, where like, I deserve this. We deserve this all the time. We deserve to be pampered and have self-care and love all the time. So I'm thrilled that you pampered yourself, and I know Mandy knows that, how to take good care of herself, which is awesome. And so I just wanted to just share that with you, because sometimes, I used to be a massage therapist, and people would say, I'm going to give myself the gift of a massage. It's my birthday. And that happens once a year, So it's really important to know what we like and to give it to ourselves on a regular basis, because as women, we give so much and we work so hard. So I'm definitely off script here, but that's what this is about. Not only is it about the training I have, but to also, interact with you and share with you. So that just kind of popped into my head. Anita, I'm doing well. Good. Had a hectic afternoon, but I'm here and fully present. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. Grace, happy to be here again. Much food for thought. Grace, so good to have you here. And Bonnie, good to have you back. One of the things I'm going to share, because it's on the Facebook group, Bonnie had mentioned, and I don't have it in front of me because it's hard to have everything in front of me. Actually, I don't even know if I could have it in front of me at this point. For the next master class, I'll figure it out. Bonnie was with us last summer when we did this class, and she's here today again. And she's saying that this has been a really good, this is my language, not hers, but a good touchstone for seeing how far she's come and how she's grown, and that there's more. And so I just really want to honor you, Bonnie, for knowing that there could potentially be more, and for showing up fully as you always do. I really want to honor you for that. And for each and every one of you that is saying, maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there is more growth to be had. Maybe I don't have to just stay stuck and feel crappy or not have the love of my life. That's what you're here for. And I just really want to honor you for that. So awesome. Is there anybody else here? I'm loving all the whatever you guys are, you know, putting up there with the hearts and the, you know, the wahoos and all that stuff. So cool. Holistic healing, good thing. Yes, absolutely. Mandy actually is an amazing yoga instructor and knows a lot about nutrition and holds these great yoga retreats up in northern New Jersey. So definitely check her out. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's meet your risk manager and find out why your risk manager is working so hard. So the risk manager is a part of you that is the one that's assessing the situation and deciding if it's okay or if it's not okay, if you're in danger. Remember, if you've had your heart hurt, it's going to be on high alert. It has that radar. So its job is to keep you from pain. So if it thinks you're going to have pain, it's going to pull you back big time if it senses danger. And again, if you've had your heart squashed, that might feel really risky to take any steps toward love. And your risk manager is going to be watching like a hawk. However, as you know, there's a cost to staying stuck. So your risk manager, when it thinks that there's danger, it comes up with strategies. It comes up with strategies to keep your heart in lockdown so that you don't get too vulnerable, so you don't open up too much and get hurt. And it's a great part to have, right? It's a great part to have, this radar for danger. However, if it's overshooting, it needs to be updated because it's working way too hard. And it's having you question yourself and question your ability to find deep love. It has you doubting who you are. It tells you horrible things to make you stuck and feel like you can't open up to love. And a lot of the risk managers, your risk managers, are running on very old programming, not just the last heartache, but a lifetime of programming. So we need to let this part see how things really are now. See that you've grown up. See that things have changed and that there's a high price to having you locked up. There's a high price to all the fear that it's creating and having you not grow and feeling alone and all the things that you're experiencing. So this part of you has these strategies, and some of the strategies is self-criticism. And again, if you're telling yourself really horrible things, you start to doubt who you are, and then you start to think you're not good enough. And if you're not feeling good enough, or beautiful, or young enough, or any of the things of the enoughness, that's a great way to slow you down. Because if you get hit in the self-esteem where it hurts, you're going to avoid love like the plague. Give me some thumbs up if this makes sense. Thumbs up that you know that there's a risk manager living inside of you and that it is pulling you back and making you scared that you're going to get your heart hurt. So give me some thumbs up. Let me know that you are resonating and with me. And Brenda, welcome. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. So some thumbs up. And in the comment box too. Thumbs up in the comment box. You could do one of those little sticky things. It's good to see them there too. Okay. So guess what? Your inner critic. I see all the thumbs up. It's really great. Yeah. In the comment box too. That's just nice. But I do like the floaty things too. It's all good. It's all good. So, oh, my pink bra is showing. I'm showing a little sexiness tonight. Woo-hoo. So your inner critic is a tool that your risk manager uses to have you stay put and to not open your heart. So anyone here have a risk manager, excuse me, an inner critic besides me? And in the comment box, I want you to write I see. I and the letter C, inner critic. I want to know that I'm not alone in having an inner critic that has me question whether love is possible. Excuse me for a second, I need to get a tissue. Do you have an inner critic that has you thinking you're too fat? Do you have an inner critic that tells you you're too old? Do you have an inner critic that has you think that all men or women, whoever, whatever your preference is, they're all messed up and you're never going to find the right one? This is the dialogue that goes on that slows you down. So anybody else have an inner critic other than me? Well, first of all, I'm seeing all the thumbs up from before. Thank you. And now I'm seeing all the ICs. Thank you. Thank you for playing. And on the one hand, it's great that you're saying you have it because we're acknowledging it. On the other hand, it really hurts, doesn't it? So let's see what we can do about it, okay? So what is the risk manager actually doing? Like, why is it there? I mean, I've kind of intimated why, but what I'd like you to do is pull out worksheet number 3. You had it in your email. Hopefully you have it. And it's titled, Why We Avoid Risk. And I did ask in the email that you brainstorm some of the reasons you avoid risk. So let's see if I can pull it out. Why we avoid risk. Looks, oops, like that. So if you did it and you have some things to share about, you know, what came up, I would love to have some comments. Bonnie said, my IC causes physical challenges and are too much for someone else to deal with. Bonnie, I know that you struggle. I know we've talked about this. I'm going to challenge you a little bit on this, and I'm going to just trust that this is okay with you, and for everybody here, you could take it as a lesson for yourself as well. It's a belief you have that it's too much for someone else. It's a belief, and I'm going to share with you why I know that it's a belief and not necessarily a truth. All right, and so Bonnie, if this was okay, so let me see, is that you? That's, yeah, you gave me the thumbs up. Good. I was like, I was going to say, and if you need to like do a clearing with me later, give me a call. I have a dear friend who has MS, and she's in pain all the time. She struggles with her health all the time. And now she's even dealing with cancer. So my dear, dear friend, who is not a spring chicken, you know, she's in her 60s and she struggles with her health. She started dating a man a few years ago. They fell madly in love, got engaged, and this was all while shit was hitting the fan. And he loves her like breath itself. So we need to look at what our belief systems are. We need to see what we're telling ourselves. Because if we believe, like Bonnie, if you think your physical challenges are too much for someone else to deal with, you're putting that out there. You just are. And I know you and I have a similar belief system. And again, for anything I say, take what you want, leave if it doesn't resonate with you. My heart hurts when I see people stopping themselves from love because of a belief when it's just not true. You know, and oh my God, I have so many other stories to tell you about our beliefs and how they impact our relationships. But for now, I think that was a good example. And I love you, Bonnie, and you so deserve love. And I know there's somebody that is going to be totally there for you and willing to love you and support you and, yeah, be there for you. Grace, I call it the inner enemy. It takes energy to control it. Great, and we're going to talk about this more. So it does take a lot of energy to control the controller, because that's what it is. This inner critic / risk manager is overworking and trying to control our whole life. And so if we start to push back, there's a battle, and it does seem like an enemy. And so what I want to plant a seed here for you guys is, it's, you know, be friendly with your enemies. I don't want to say you're wrong, Grace. I'm just going to invite you to look at the word enemy, because when we think of enemy, it's like, I got to fight it. Anything we're going to fight, anything we resist persists, and it's challenging and it's exhausting. And what I offer to you is there's a way to actually get your risk manager to stop working so hard and to work with you so it's not so tiring. And tomorrow we're going to do a really powerful exercise to get that risk manager to chill the frig out. All right. Mandy, to maintain my safe zone, to protect my goals for my future, to avoid conflict with family. Yeah, absolutely. When we don't want conflict, we're going to avoid it like the plague. And, you know, that safe zone, we're like, you know, what's going to happen in the future? Yes, these are the reasons we avoid it. Yep. Great. Great, great, great. So, so thank you for your shares. Let me just, my computer is acting up right now. Oh my God. What is going on? I've just lost my notes. Oh, guys, I don't know what to do. Hold on. Let me see. Wow. Wow. I might have a difficulty here. Let's see what's happening. Okay, it's back. I don't know what the heck's going on. Okay. But let's see. Give me a second, guys, because it moved me back to yesterday's notes. Okay, so just give me 1 second. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my computer. Are we a Mercury retrograde? Because if not, I'm having my own personal Mercury retrograde today. So thank you for the shares. So I want to talk to you on the same sheet of the why we avoid risk, the 5 main reasons why people avoid risk. And some of you mentioned it already, you know. So one of them is fear of failure, right? That's kind of a no-brainer. If we take a risk, it may not work out. Fear of success. You actually might get what you want, and then things might change. You may not be happy with what you get. So like that unknown place, which is another one. Fear of the unknown, fear of change. Hold on a second. I apologize. That was from yesterday. Do you still love me? I'm going to invite you to give me some hearts right now because I could use some hearts because I am not finding where we left off. Okay, here we go. The 5 main reasons I want to talk to you. Thank you for the heart. Failure, which is what I said before, but failure. You may not get what you want, all right? So we just covered that. And exposure. If it doesn't work out, it might reflect negatively on you, right? So if you go for something, like here's an example. You know, I have this big event coming up, and I'll tell you about it tomorrow. This big event called Find Fabulous Love Live. It's my first 2-day event. And I'm putting myself way out there, you know, to let people know about this event. And I have no idea how it's gonna be received. I mean, I give my heart and soul to my events, and it's gonna be an awesome event. And I see the room being filled, and I have all these amazing people co-creating it with me, and I have these unbelievable guests, and oh, it's gonna be just this phenomenal, transformative event. And I'm going to be really exposed. I'm going to be really, you know, being all over the internet and in magazines and newspapers and just really being out there. And I am opening myself up for people to have opinions, right? So exposure, that could be a risk, a big risk. But as most of you know, I got naked and body painted for the whole world to see, to talk about body image and body shame. And I kind of feel like once I've done that, I'm okay with both exposure. The other one, embarrassment, right? If you push for something and it doesn't work out, people might judge you, and that never feels good. Rejection. If your risk fails, people might reject you, especially the ones that you love. You know, let's just say you take a risk and you ask someone out and they said no. You know, I mean, how many times have you texted somebody after a date, or you reached out to them and you got ghosted? You know, it can feel really sucky. That's why we're working on the tools that we're working on, so you don't take such a big hit to your heart. And yet at the end of the day, when someone ghosts you, at least I'll speak for myself, when somebody disappears, there's a moment of, what did I miss? You know, or, you know, did I do something wrong? And I only stay there for a moment because of the tools that I've worked. But I offer to you that, you know, that's a risk. Putting yourself out there, you might have no's. People might say no to you. And if you take a risk, you might lose. What might you lose? Here's an interesting thing. There might be loss because you're trying something new and you get it. And then you might have to give up something that's familiar to you. And I want to talk to you about that one, because all the other ones I think we can relate to pretty easily, rejection and judgment and things like that. But loss, when we go for something, loss. This one happens a lot to my clients, and it's always really surprising to them when we start to really look at it. It's not as much about losing the relationship, even though that sucks, but losing themselves in the relationship, or losing something that matters to them in the relationship. So I'm going to tell you a story about a client of mine. Let's just call her Jane. She really wanted a relationship, and it had been years since she dated. But she was ready, and she really wanted to find a partner. And that's when she came to me. You know, she was at the end of her rope because she really wanted something new. She wanted that companion. But she just kept having a lot of excuses and a lot of sabotaging behaviors. Like, she would do a lot of overeating, especially right before a date. And then she'd feel unattractive and she'd feel sucky. And sometimes she would cancel the dates, or she would just have a busy schedule and not go on the dates. I mean, she kept getting in her own way. And when we explored what was really up for her, she realized, and this is big, guys, she realized that if she met Mr. Right, he might want to move in, and his life might be different than hers, and it might infringe on her space. And she knew how she liked things. I mean, it had been years of living alone, and she was scared that it would totally change her life, like in a really dramatic way, and not in all the good ways that she is thinking about. You know, oh, I want this relationship, but underneath it, she was scared that she'd lose her freedom. Anybody relate to that? Fear of losing yourself, fear of losing your freedom or your space or your schedule. You could, in the comment box, say, yes, I'm afraid of losing X. What are you afraid of losing? And I'll just keep going on and just say we explored this. We explored what might happen. What was really risky about her inviting another person in? Because sometimes the risks we think are so scary are just past fears, things from the past that are really not as risky now. So she needed to see what was truly dangerous. This computer is not being nice to me. Yeah, she needed to really see what was so scary. And when we have the risks in front of us, we could actually make different choices. And she really needed to see what was really risky and what really wasn't so concerning, and how to take healthy risks so she could open up to love and keep her freedom. Because if she was afraid of letting go of her freedom and her schedule, she needs to know that moving forward. And when she knew that, she knew not only what was important to her, what she wasn't willing to sacrifice. And it didn't have to be so black and white. It wasn't, yes, I can have a relationship but lose my freedom, or not have a relationship and have all the freedom. There's like that middle ground. And we looked at that. And as soon as that risk manager can see that it's not so scary, things change. I just want to see if there are any more comments here. Let's see. Bonnie, don't want to have repeats of the past, like someone who takes advantage of me, lied to me. I know. You know, a lot of times, like I said yesterday, we date the same person over and over again. And there's always risk, right? We could still have somebody that may not show up the way authentically that we'd like. There's risk. But at the same time, the more you shift, and I promise you, this is what I see with all of my clients and myself, the more you change, the more you have healthy boundaries, the more you know yourself and are really able to hold that truth, you'll see differently and you will call in different people. I just see it all the time. So I know that pain, I know that fear, there's no 100% guarantee. And I know that the more you grow and unfold, all of us, the higher the bar rises and the better the relationships we become. Let me just see what else you wrote here. Let's see. I don't want to get lost in the initial feeling or chemistry and never get to know the real person. I know. So we need to be mindful. We need to really learn how to stay present and to take a step back and not go so fast, you know. Carol, never had sex heavy in my life, but did last year. Hated it. Lost 30 pounds since, and the guy. But I'm good now. at how to lose a guy in 10 days. That's a good one. That's a good one. And there's a lot there about being comfortable with ourselves and being vulnerable, certainly with being intimate, you know, that's a biggie, right, guys? Bonnie, I will shortcut the potential relationship I desire. Yep. Saber, I hope I'm saying your name right. Fear of wasting time. Yeah, right? Our life is so precious. And that's why the more you know yourself and what you want and the life you're creating, the more you could cut sooner the people that are not good fits and see sooner who is. So we waste a lot less time. Let's see. Let's see if there's any in that situation now, Mandy. I'm not sure what situation that is. You could tell us more about it. Yeah, Bonnie's change your schedule to other people. Yeah, I've done that too until I realized, wait a second, where are my friends? Where's my family? You know, again, this is magician energy we're talking about. The magician archetype is the part of us that looks and watches and sees. And sometimes our magician goes to sleep a little bit and doesn't see as clearly as we need it to. It gets overwhelmed or it just feels murky. And a lot of that is the old programming. And that's the risk manager trying to distract us in some way. So again, we're going to do some big stuff around it. Fear of losing autonomy. Debbie, yes. Hi, Debbie. Good to have you here. Yeah, me too, right? Mandy, I'm in a new relationship and I don't know if I'm holding back or if it's just not right. Well, first of all, before I even read on, new. New. We put so much pressure on ourselves to know everything so fast. You know, in my opinion, and everything I've read and what I know, it takes many, many, many months for us to really know a person. You know, now granted, we can trust our gut and watch for the red flags. That's important. But at the end of the day, we do have to invest some time until we really know whether we're holding back or whether it's just not right. So trust your gut, Mandy, and give it some time. I'm definitely scared of having anyone hold me back from my goals. So don't. Know your goals and let them know how important your goals are. And one thing I know about guys is if they're the right guy, they want to support your goals. They want to be the wind beneath your wings. Make sure that you make them your king. Let them know that they're your king and that you are the queen and you've got some passions too. So just keep owning it and let him in. Grace, yes, losing who I am and deferring to the other person. Yep, so that's a theme here, right? Losing ourself to the other person, losing our schedule, losing our autonomy. There's a lot more comments. I'm gonna just zip right through. Yep, pay or quit, what I'm told. Also having unmet expectations. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that are here for us right now. So let's get back to the risk manager. So the risk manager sees things very much in black and white. And it gives you lots of roadblocks if it senses you're going to get too vulnerable or lose something that matters to you. And that's what happened with Jane. So once she realized her concerns, just like you guys, I don't want to lose my autonomy, I don't want to lose myself, I don't want to lose my schedule. Once Jane saw what her fears were and she brought them into the light, because at the end of the day, I'm a shadow worker, in case you guys don't know that. I shine the light on the stuff that you can't see. So we shine the light on what you couldn't see about this scenario. And she was able to be proactive in moving forward to dating. She was more conscious of what her needs were. And she knew what she was not willing to abandon. And she knew what she valued most in her life. And that's important. For you to move forward, you really need to know who you are. So much of all of what I do is helping you know you. Because then you'll know your bottom line, you'll know your boundaries, you'll know how to speak up for yourself, and you'll be able to step forward into love. So we need to work with this risk manager. So let's see. So what would you say would be the toughest thing to manage when it comes to the risks? Actually, you know what? I'm just going to pause that and just move on because you guys have kind of really shared a lot about the risks. I just want to make some key points here I think that are important. You know, the number one thing that I see that separates the people who don't magnetize the love that they want and the people that look back on their lives with the regret, what I see is the people that really magnetize and make their dreams come true are the people that take action in spite of their fears. Even if they're scared, they're still taking steps. And that's what we need to work with our risk manager. Because if we don't move forward, we will not have the life that we want. We'll stay in our comfort zone. But we need to listen to our fears, right? We need to listen to it. We need to see what's so scary. And then, with the right support and tools, you can move forward. And it doesn't have to be a hard push. It actually could be a wonderful pulling you forward toward your dream life, toward your love of your life. You just have to update the risk manager to show it a new way and to show it that if it keeps stopping you and holding you back and having you doubt yourself, that you're going to be in a lot of pain. So it's easy to play safe and stay in your comfort zone like we talked about yesterday, but it doesn't get you very far. And nothing happens until you go after what you believe in, right? Make sense? Just see if there's any other comments here. Karen pulled into the drama. Yeah. Yep. So if taking chances is important to moving forward in your love life, then what can you do to support yourself in doing so? So let's explore this. Pull out the sheet supporting risk taking. And I did ask you to brainstorm on this, the ways that you can be supported in taking risks. And please comment on some of your brainstorming. All the possible ways risk-taking can be supported. I mean, the interesting thing about risks is it's a lot of time. A lot of the time, the risk isn't as risky as you think. Like I said, it's old programming. Years and years, guys, years and years of experiences that have shaped you, that have you terrified of being left or judged or losing yourself or any other reason that taking a chance seems scary. And to get the risk manager to see that when it's stopping you, it's hindering your heart. So if your risk manager can see that you have more support from outside sources, and more importantly, in my belief, inside as well, that you can then have different strategies to support your movement forward. So anybody have some comments about ways to get some support? Bonnie, set small goals on a calendar to check off or rewards toward the larger goal, just like I'm doing with my art goals. Awesome. So what things can you do to encourage yourself to take action? What are some of the things that can help you? Who can support you in your life? I mean, who is in your life? There are friends, there are mentors. I mean, for like an example today, I'm in a group of a whole bunch of women, women entrepreneurs, and I needed some support from my mentor, and I asked for it. I didn't just sit there and stay quiet. I raised my hand and I asked for the support in front of everybody. So it was a little bit of a risk for me to be seen. Even though I don't have a lot of fear of being seen, I was being really vulnerable. I was sharing some of my fears about some of the things that are coming up in my business and the stretching I'm doing, because it's like some major stretching I'm doing. And I took the risk and asked my mentor for support, and I got it. And then I also got a whole bunch of messages on Facebook and texts from my friends and emails in the group saying, you've got this, you could do this, I'll help you. And so that made my next steps feel so much better. So who's in your life that can support you? Where can you get that person or group to have your back. You know, when I hold my events, like this 2-day event that's coming up, you know, I want everyone to feel the support. I want everyone to feel, everyone that shows up to that event, that there's a place to go while I'm on stage doing what I'm doing and sharing all these exercises. I want the container to feel confident that they're being taken care of. So I've hired a bunch of people and have a bunch of volunteers that I know great skills to hold the space. So I know I can do what I can do and to give everyone that comes to this 2-day event support. Does that make sense? I see a couple comments here. Let me see what's here. So Carol, what is a risk? A risk is anytime you take a chance where something can go wrong. A risk is stepping out of your comfort zone, trying something new. I invite you to go back to yesterday's class, because we talked a bunch about all these different types of risks. So basically, anytime you venture into the mystery and say yes to something that you don't know the outcome of, there's risk. There's risk in leaving the house. There's risk in taking a new job. There's risks. And with our heart, it can feel really risky. Mandy, to support risks, write down goals. Great. Seek help when needed. Watch Junie's chats whenever you can for inspiration. Thank you. And take time for yourself. Take time for self-care. Yeah, I do a Facebook Live every Tuesday, except for today. I didn't do it for today because of this. But every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I do what's called Tea Time Tuesday, and I share different topics every week. So I love that. Write down your goals. Just having it in front of you. If everything wasn't connected to all my screens here, I would turn this around and show you what's on my wall, because I have calendars and plans, and I have a whiteboard over there with ideas, and get it out of my head so that it doesn't feel so risky, and I have the support of what's in front of me. That is supporting me instead of it just being in my head. So writing things down, awesome, great. Bonnie, I put that on my list because my critique group is so good for my artwork, but the women I know mostly are in the wrong paradigm of complaining. Yeah, we need to know who we're surrounding ourselves with, right? We become the people that we surround ourselves with. If we're surrounding ourselves with negative, victim kind of conscious people, it pulls our energy down, and they're certainly not going to want to lift you up, because they're not going to be in a great place. They're not going to want to see your light. In fact, I'll share with you. I remember this moment. Oh my God, like yesterday, so long ago, before my son was born. So we're talking about over 22 years ago. And I remember something happened. I don't remember what happened, but somebody wasn't so thrilled with me and my bubbly energy. And my husband, or my husband at the time, said, well, I understand that. And I was like, what do you mean? He wasn't being very supportive, by the way. He says, I understand that. He goes, you're so big and bright. You probably piss a lot of people off, and you probably make a lot of people nauseous. I mean, I remember this like yesterday. He basically said, you're too much. Whatever he said, he gave me the message, you're too much, you're too bright. Of course people aren't going to like you. And how he said it wasn't supportive. It was really like a dig. And so right now it's sounding really nice as I'm saying it. But back then it was like, people hate me because I'm positive. But who we surround ourselves with, we have to look at that for sure, you know? Anita suggested, a friend suggested to journal. Yeah, get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. That's a great support. Stop needing to be needy of controlling men. Stop needing to be needy of controlling men. Yeah. So we all have our needs, and it's all good to have our needs. And what we need is important, and we want to express our needs. However, what is it about controlling men that you're drawn to? And that's where we would have to dive in a little deeper. Not for this, but feel free to reach out to me, Karen. We could talk about that. Because we're attracted to certain things because there's parts of us that are unhealed. So if we are attracted to an unhealthy type of personality, there's something in us that needs to be healed. All right. I have a client that always, in the past, has dated very full of himself, arrogant men. and she has acknowledged that she's got low self-esteem. And so here she's attracted to a man that is just almost narcissistic. He's just so all about himself. But she kept dating the same person. And once she started shifting her inner landscape and started to feel better about who she was, he didn't look so great anymore. In fact, she saw that too much energy, and she didn't need that anymore. She was more full inside, so she didn't need to be looking for that guy that was just overshooting how great he was. If that made sense. But that's like the shadowy thing. We tend to date our shadows. We tend to date the dark part of us, the part of us that we've disowned, the part of us that we think is bad or too little, because we see it in somebody else and we go, oh, he looks so amazing because he's so big and larger than life. And that's a part of us that we're craving, to be able to know our self-esteem. But we're attracting the shadow, the too muchness. So anyway, I'm kind of going on a sidetrack here, but I just wanted to share a little bit of that, you know. With choices comes risk. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's see. Let's get back to what else I want to share with you tonight. So our support systems, this is important. You know, when our risk manager can see that you are not 5 years old or 20 years old or even 40 years old, you know, wherever you are in the grand scheme of age, when your risk manager can see that you're in a new stage of life, that you've learned new things, that you have more support, it could then calm down and give you some space. Make sense? Give me some thumbs up if it makes sense. So supporting risk-taking. So 5 powerful perspectives on risk-taking that can help you move forward. 5 powerful perspectives, and this is on your handout. 5 powerful perspectives on risk-taking that can help you move forward. You could fill this in. The first one is allowing for mistakes. Give yourself a break. Give yourself some spaciousness to be human, you know? Number 2, approaching risk as an opportunity to learn. That's an interesting perspective, right? If we look at risk as something really scary and horrible and something to avoid, that there's a very different energetic about it versus I'm taking this chance and there's an opportunity to grow here. Another perspective, be prepared to ask for help. You don't have to do it alone. Oh my God, for so many years I did everything alone. And I still have to be mindful of that because sometimes I still fall into that hole. So we need to remember our friends, our sisterhood, this group. This group was created for us to be able to share space with each other and time with each other, to ask each other questions and to share some of our stories, to be witnessed. We feel less alone. To reward our successes, right? You know, to celebrate our successes, you know, and to do upfront planning, have contingency plans, you know. We could just, you know, be really conscious of what steps to take. You know, in my Find Fabulous Love Live 2-day event, we spend like such a big portion of time just amping up self-esteem while accumulating more inner tools so that we can have more self-compassion, so we can build that trust and love again. Here in this arena, we're just dipping our toes to get the risk manager just quiet down and see things have changed. Have a different perspective, to see risk through different eyes, so that when the risk manager quiets down and gives you some space, then your sovereign energy, that part of you that knows you're valuable, worthy of love, then you feel better about who you are, and then you could take bigger, bolder steps. And they might be baby steps, and they might be a full blast dive deep, you know, into the deep water. But again, that risk manager is going to be watching, so keep working with it. Because once you have your perspective on risk and it shifts into that new way of looking at it, your risk manager will shift too. And it'll stop being so controlling. So going back to what you said, Grace, about the risk manager being like that inner enemy because you're trying to control it and it's exhausting. Once you shift, and all of us shift our perspective on taking chances and seeing the support you have, journaling, writing it down, sharing with your sisters, your risk manager can then go, oh, you're not like that little girl anymore that didn't have support from your mom or your dad or your friends. You actually have sisterhood, you have a partner, you have friends, you have groups, and your risk manager will quiet down because you're adding these new tools in, you're adding these new voices in, which helps you embrace next level love because your self-esteem is bigger, because you get your inner critic to chill out. And then the next steps in opening to love become way less scary and way smoother. So this masterclass is a good taste for you to see what's happening with your risk manager and to explore ways you can get support. Because remember, to have your comfort zone expand, you need some new tools inside. You need to have that support. And when you have more support, you can go, I could try that, I could try that, I could try that. If this doesn't go the way I plan, I know she's got my back, or I can reach out to my mom, you know, so there's more. So now go to the bottom of the risk-taking one. And I kind of messed that up a little bit, so my apologies there. I was kind of giving you some other pointers, but there are specifically 5 perspectives on risk-taking. So I apologize for that. That got a little messed up. You know, I was an actress when I was younger, still am, but I was a professional trained actress. And one of the things they said was never let them know you screwed up. Like if you're on stage, you know, just keep going. Don't let them know you screwed up, because a lot of times they won't even know you screwed up. So I'm also about full transparency, and with my technical difficulties, I screwed up. And you know what? I'm good, because I know you love me no matter what. And if you don't, well, you can go away. I love you guys. I'm in a goofy mood. It's been a long day. Oh, see, I lost someone already. All right. So anyway, so go to the bottom of supporting risk-taking. And I'd like to give you the 5 powerful perspectives on risk-taking that will empower you to take more chances in life. So the first one I call take the plunge. Take an action toward love, no matter how small. No matter how small that action, it will always create movement. And as Tony Robbins would say, if you're not growing, you're dying. So movement is key. So what's one action that you can take right now to take a step toward love? I'd love to see some comments there. What's one action you could take right now to move you toward love? And I just want to welcome Minerva. I see you joined us. Welcome. I just want to acknowledge Anita. I'm preparing to facilitate a one-day retreat on the topic New Beginnings. That's great. I've reached out to a friend whose knowledge I value for assistance. Right, we don't have to do this alone. That's great. Body language courses are good. Yep. And it's a risk for you, Anita. I bet, you know. So you have a choice here. You could look at it as an opportunity, and you could keep reaching out for support and know that it's growth. Or you could look at it from that other perspective of, oh, this can happen and this can happen. And so where do you want to hang your hat? Knowing that you're a human being and fear is fine. Just keep it in front of you. Keep it in front of you. Keep asking for support. Never let them see you sweat, Junie Moon. You know, yes, and some people, I will not let them know I'm sweating. On the other hand, I really, truly want you to know when I'm sweating. I want you to know when I'm scared. I want you to know when I'm feeling vulnerable, and I want to share it with you. I want to share it with the world in a way that doesn't put me at risk, you know, because truly, when and this is like the biggest piece, oh my God, if I can just bottle this up and give it to everybody, what I have found is vulnerability is strength. It's power. And when I could truly relax and be visible, unapologetic for my oopses and just love myself completely and just allow myself to be in my vulnerability, even if I'm in an oops, I'm free. I'm free. When we can embrace vulnerability and not be so scared to have people see us sweat, we are free. When we drop the ball and go, boom, we're free. So when we drop the ball and go, I hope no one saw, that takes a lot of energy. So we have to decide who we let in, because still that risk manager needs to decide who we let in and who we don't. So many great comments here. Let's see. Just keep showing up where we meet in community and being real, speaking when an opportunity presents. Yes, great steps. Why aren't there any honest, good dating sites? Well, that is a belief. I think there's some great dating sites. There are just some people on it that I don't think are so great. But again, all perspective, right? Mandy, taking a step towards love. Take quiet time to understand what's going on inside of me, to understand my emotions and separate from outside influences. Exactly. Beautiful. So great steps. So let's see. Another powerful perspective on risk taking that can help you move forward is similar to some of the things you just said, which is say yes to love. Because love isn't about obligations or commitments and to-do lists. It's about being able to say no to the things that don't work for you and yes to the things that matter most to you. So continue to ask yourself, what do you want to say yes to and no to? And that's a way to move forward. Another one is to go out on a limb. The view will be much better from there, and you're bound to find some fruit. So take a risk and stretch a little and go out on a limb. And another one, another title for another perspective is swing for the fences, like in baseball. If you win, you'll be happy. If you lose and it doesn't work out, you will be wiser. And you will have learned a bunch, and you can take those lessons to the next relationship. And again, I know losing is painful. Relationships can be hard, and we do grow, and there is the next one. Tony Robbins said, if somebody leaves you or cheats on you or whatever, and the relationship ends, he's so dramatic. He's like, go out into the street and raise your hand to go next. So to keep moving forward, most people spend too much time worrying about what won't work. And as a result, they justify why it's best to take no action at all. And again, that's your risk manager plotting so you don't so that you don't move anywhere. So you stay right where you are. So roll the dice. That's the last one. Never let the odds keep you from love. We are on this planet for love. Love, 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 love. And there's a lot going around. We just need to find out how to get out of our own way and get it flowing. So what's your reaction to these 5 perspectives? And which perspective would inspire you to take a chance? Let me give you a minute for you to answer that. With those perspectives, taking a chance, so rolling the dice, swinging for the fences, going out on a limb, saying yes to life and taking the plunge. Which one resonates with you the most, and which one would have you taking a chance and trying something new? Wow, we've got a lot of people that just joined. Christine, Jaya, Monica, and Silvina. We are almost done for today. In fact, I'm going to be closing in a moment. So I really, really, really encourage you to come back maybe in just 7 minutes. Because in 7-10 minutes, it'll repopulate and it'll start from the beginning. And I'm sorry that you're coming in at this time, but I'm glad you're here. Saying yes to life, Bonnie says. Yes. Swinging for the fences, Mandy. Yes. Step by step. Step by step. So that's the end for today. Tomorrow, guys, tomorrow is a huge, huge deal because we are going to do a powerful exercise that will help you reprogram your risk manager. Remember, if you don't get your risk manager working for you, it's working against you. And if you want to invite new love in and you are talking dirty to yourself like you don't deserve love, you are not worthy of love, no one's going to love you at this age, whatever yucky stuff you tell yourself. That's the risk manager holding you back, or maybe making you feel ill, or all the different things the risk manager might be doing to hold you back. Tomorrow, we're going head on with that risk manager. We're going to do a really powerful piece. And oh, there was another thing I forgot to tell you. You'll get it in your email. I'm not sure which email. So many emails, so little time. There's an email that I'm gifting you, a guidebook. It's called My Find Fabulous Love After 40 Guidebook. And there are steps that you can take, 10 steps, easy steps to really start this dialogue with your inner critic to get it to work for you. And we're gonna work with this tomorrow too. So it's gonna be a little similar, but I wanted to give you a little heads up if you wanted to have that in your pocket, so to speak. So pretty sure you'll get it tomorrow morning in your email. I'm not sure. Pretty sure it's tomorrow though. A lot of emails that I've been doing. So show up tomorrow. Keep commenting. Remember, if you keep commenting, you have an opportunity to win the VIP. Minerva, love my risk manager. Minerva is a sister in facilitation and shadow work, and we know the value of our risk manager. Right now, we're talking about the downside of the risk manager controlling us and taking our energy away. And for some of us, and hopefully you too, that there's great value in this part, this magician-y part that's really looking out for you. We just need to pull it back a little bit. We need to let it see that its strategies are just too much, you know? We are on this earth to love. Yes, Carol. Minerva, I love them all and they all work. I've always been a careful person, but I did take a chance and my life changed. Yeah, she's a big jumper offer person taking lots of chances. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. You know, it's not too late to let your friends know. I mean, they can watch the replays and they can join the group. So if you're getting value, please share the wealth and please keep commenting. And I will see you tomorrow night for another jam-packed, full, transformational evening. And thank you for sharing this time with me and allowing me to be your guide and sharing my journey with you and what I've learned that has worked for me and what hasn't worked for me. Thank you for trusting me and having me hold your hand as I share some of what I think are some of the greatest tips in welcoming in new love. So blessings to you. Good night.